Hello beautiful people of the world, welcome to my channel. My name is Shay and today's video is going to be about how to declutter your home, where to start, how to go about it. I know a lot of people are looking to declutter and wonder where should I start. They're so overwhelmed because decluttering can be so overwhelming. It's physically exhausting, it's mentally exhausting. So let's get into my tips on how I have spent the past 4 years decluttering my home and living a simpler life. Before you start actually tackling the clutter, I wanted to give you some ideas of things that you might want to consider doing before to help tackle that overwhelming clutter that might be in your home. The first step for me is my why. So I want you to think about what is your why and let us know in the comments down below, because I'm sure this can give a lot of other people ideas and just interested to know what other people's why is. So your why is going to be, what is the reason you're doing this for? Why do you want to declutter and get rid of just this clutter in your house? For me, it's the financial part of it as well as the mental health part of it. I was getting a lot of anxiety seeing all of this clutter. It was overwhelming. Spending hours every day, every week, cleaning and taking away time from my family. It was just not something I wanted to do anymore, and I wanted to live a simpler life. For my financial why, I saved money because I wasn't going out shopping and buying more clutter, but I was also making money because I was selling my clutter as well. And those are my two whys, and this is what kept me going the whole way when I felt overwhelmed, felt like giving up. I stopped and thought, why did I even start this process? And that is what kept me going. The next thing I love to do is make a declutter list. Doesn't have to be written down. I just like the visual aspect of it, because as you are going, you can check off the things that you have already done and then see the things that you want to keep going. And I just find it so satisfying to see the things that I've already done on my list, and that really keeps me motivated. The last step you might want to consider before you actually start decluttering is planning some type of sorting system. I have a box, normally it's like a cardboard box that I use, and that is my donations bin. The reason I use a cardboard box or something that's not see-through is because this way I don't actually see what's in there, and over time I just forget what I put in there, so I don't go back in and dig that stuff out. If you're not too comfortable letting things go yet, that's okay. What about trying the quarantine box method? Again, I use a non-see-through box or container, and this is where I put the items that I'm not too sure about, the items that I might have the financial guilt from spending it, kind of like that buyer's remorse, or that gift-giving guilt. Someone gave you a gift, they're special and important to you, but you're not going to use it. You feel so bad giving it away. I actually have a video where I talk about this a lot more in detail, which I'll leave right here for you, somewhere up here. And what you do with your quarantine bin, put it away somewhere on a shelf or a closet, and you kind of just forget about it. Now, you give yourself a specific amount of time, whatever you choose. For me, it's normally a couple weeks or a month, because I have been doing this for so long. I know if I'm not going to touch it in that time, I can probably get rid of it. If you don't go reaching for those items, you kind of forget about them, you don't even remember what's in there, awesome. Maybe you can consider letting these items go. This helped a lot when I was starting off, because I was not comfortable with getting rid of items yet, and it was a struggle for me mentally. I had an attachment to these items, and honestly, this quarantine bin method works great still, 4 years later for me, with those items that I'm not too sure about. This works great for kids as well as people that live in your house that might not be in the same mindset of having more of a clutter-free house and clutter-free life. I see this all the time. Try the quarantine bin method. Put a couple of your kids' toys in there and see, do they ask for those toys? Because we all know if you show the kids, like, are you okay if I donate this? They're going to lose their mind. It's suddenly going to be their favorite toy even though they haven't touched it in over a year. Non-see-through bin if possible, or bag. Put it in there, see if the kids ask for the toys. If not, maybe you can talk to that person or the child about possibly letting this item go. We've talked about the main two sorting methods that you might want to have when decluttering. Another thing I love to do is have a trash bag. Literally just hook it on the door and I throw all the trash in there. Much easier than walking back and forth to the garbage can. The last sorting method I like to use is the does not belong pile. I normally use a laundry hamper, and this is just because it's big and I can carry it around everywhere. So let's say I'm organizing the junk drawer. 9 times out of 10 in the junk drawer I have stuff that goes in the bathroom, stuff that goes in the kids' rooms, just things that does not belong anywhere near there. And instead of me walking back and forth to all of these rooms while I'm decluttering, I throw it in the does not belong bin, my laundry hamper. Once I'm done decluttering my space, my junk drawer, my closet, whatever I'm decluttering, then I take that hamper, I walk throughout the house, and I go in the kids' rooms. I put all of the stuff away in their room that's in the hamper. I go to the bathroom. Any of the bathroom stuff that's in the hamper, it goes away. This makes things a lot faster, less overwhelming, and so much easier when you're actually decluttering and finding the items that you do want to keep, but they don't belong in that space that you're decluttering. Those are the sorting methods that I love to use when I am decluttering. Now it's time to tackle the clutter. Start small. Small little spaces, one space at a time. I like to start with something like a junk drawer or a small closet. This is a great way to go about it because the way I used to do it was I would pull everything out from a huge project, make a big mess, get so overwhelmed and end up just shoving it all back and putting it away because I couldn't deal with it. Or even worse, not putting it away and just adding the clutter everywhere else into the living spaces of my house, like the kitchen table, and that just caused so much more anxiety and extra stress that I did not need in my life. Start small and work your way up. That's where that declutter list comes in so handy because it's step by step. The junk drawer you want to declutter, the upstairs closet, whatever it is, it works great that way. Something important to remember is this clutter built up over time. It is not just going to go away quickly. It is going to take time to declutter and go through all of these things item by item. So don't let that stop you or overwhelm you too much. Let's keep going. This built up over time, and just try to remember that and remember your why, and that's going to get you to keep on going. Another way I love to tackle my decluttering is when I'm doing a large declutter. So I'm setting aside a certain amount of time to declutter during that week or that month. I love to start with something that makes the biggest visual difference. I do this when I'm cleaning as well. So let's say I'm going to clean my bedroom. What I like to do is actually make my bed first. I have a big king-size bed, so a nice made bed gives me a fresh canvas for where I'm going to clean. It motivates me to keep going. So quick and easy to make my bed, but it makes a big visual difference, and this really keeps me going. Then once my bed is made, I'm so motivated because I love how clean and neat it looks that I clean my room spick and span so quick. The motivation is intense. A couple things I like to ask myself as I am doing my decluttering or as I am constantly every day just evaluating my items. Have I used this item in the past year? I live in a place where we get really hot summers and really cold winters, so some items I do only use a couple times a year, but it would be absolutely ridiculous for me to buy winter gear for 4 people every single year and then donate it and sell it. So for items like that, yes, I keep it. I maybe use it once or twice a year, but it is something we need to have, and it'd be silly for me to spend the money every year for the 4 of us. So that question you really are going to have to think about and ask yourself, have you used this item in the past year? Are you going to use it in the next year? Go from there. The next question I ask myself is this item worth the space it's taking up? If it's sitting in a storage box somewhere, is it really worth the space in that storage box? What are you keeping it there for? Do you have plans for this item in the future? Why are you holding on to this item? This is something that I think to myself, and if I can't have a good enough answer, maybe I can consider letting that item go. Would I buy this item again? If I saw it in the store for the price that it was, would I buy it again? Probably not most of the time. The last question I like to ask myself is, do I have something similar or something I can use instead? I love having multi-use items. So an example of this is, instead of buying paper towels, I have these tiny little washcloths that were actually my daughter's washcloths when she was a baby. And now I use them instead of paper towels, so to clean up spills, clean up the counters, messy hands on kids instead of wet wipes. So this replaced so many different items in my house. And that is what I mean by multi-use items. I love doing that. That's just a little idea. These 4 questions that I just told you go hand in hand with the quarantine box method, because these are probably items that you're not too sure about yet, and you can put them up in your quarantine box. Don't go reaching for them or looking for them. Maybe you can consider letting them go. So that's just scraping the surface on how I declutter and where to start, or where I started. This has been a 4-year journey for me, and it is a constant thing on my mind. I'm always decluttering, assessing what comes in, what comes out. Like I said, I have other videos about this that go a lot more into detail. This is just the real basics of it. If you're interested in more decluttering content, I do have some playlists and videos right here you can check out on my decluttering journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!